Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Closet Confession Podcast. I'm your hostess Maria, and today I'm super excited to be hanging out and learning more about Kylie. Kylie is a BMX girl, so she's going to tell us about the tricks, the rides, and the good vibes.
All of it.
And so thank you so much for coming.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting patiently, and I can't wait.
And I want to say that I am super thankful because so far our interaction has been amazing, so responsible, so mature, even though you're only 19. Like, I can't stress that enough.
Thank you.
And super, super excited to have you on the pod and learn everything about you. So, a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, how old you are, and everything.
Yeah, so I'm 19, and honestly, I just barely started doing modeling this year, so it's still all pretty new to me, but I've grown up doing...
I'm surprised you didn't start before.
I know, I had done a couple, like, one-off gigs. Like, I think I did 2 one-off gigs prior, starting when I was 13, and then another one when I was 16, I think. But it was very far.
3 years ago.
Yeah, only 3 years ago. But, yeah, no, I just had never really, like, had a lot of interest in that. And with BMX, it took up so much of my time, because I started doing BMX when I was 10. So, yeah, like, as soon as I was double digits, and before that I did horseback riding. So it was like,
oh wow.
Yeah, it was road biking, horseback racing, and then BMX racing.
So definitely like sports that they're not very girly.
I love adrenaline and anything that has to do with adrenaline. Like
were you a tomboy? I was.
Yes.
And I grew up with like all my cousins were boys.
Yep.
So pretty much grew up playing PlayStation. Never really played with dolls and all that.
No.
But I want to ask you, so BMX is like not something very, very common for like girls. So tell us a little bit how you got into BMX and what drew you to it, like initially?
So honestly, what's funny is I had no interest in BMX racing at the start. So my parents had taken me there when I was probably like 8 or 9 prior. This was a long time prior. It was when the track had first opened, and they were like, "Oh, is this something you're interested in?" I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted to do basketball at the time. And
you're a tall girl, so I can see why.
And I was like, basketball just seems like that's what would be cool. And then I completely just stopped from sports for a minute. Okay. And then our neighbors, well, not really neighbors, but they were more of like my cousins in a way, but not in like that blood relation way. They were like,
male?
Yeah, he was a younger kid though too. He was probably like 6 or 7. So like I had like babysat him like at the family functions and things. So I was 3, 4 years older. And so he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna race my bike, And I was like, "Okay, I'll go watch you." And I was like, "Oh, that looks really fun." But
we tried this.
Yeah, right? But I mean, as soon as I could walk, my dad threw me on a dirt bike. He put training wheels on it. Like, he skipped the whole normal bike part.
So was your dad into BMX?
He wasn't into BMX so much, but he was into dirt bike racing. Okay. So he had actually ended up stopping.
That's something I've always wanted to try. Have you tried?
Yes, it's so much fun. It's the adrenaline from it is awesome, and the smell of the gas. Like, I grew up at the track. Like,
oh my God.
As soon as I was born, I was out there and I was hanging out with all of them because my parents had me young. I mean, I think that they were like 20 and 22 when they had me. Wow. So like, I just look at it and I'm like, I cannot imagine
because you guys are like.
We're so close. It's I think that there would be a lot more to decide. 100%. And that's where they just kind of pour everything into me with it because they're like, well, we're all growing up together.
But literally growing up together.
It's
So
cool.
you say that your neighbor kind of like introduced you to it.
Yeah,
you
100%.
know, and then how was it? Did you take classes? How did you end up?
It was just one
starting.
Of those, it was just kind of I had gotten on the track and I just ended up falling in love with it, and I loved overall the community of everything. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of go for it. And I had done a couple. They're called clinics, but I really don't like being told what to do and how to do things. It's one of my I just don't like that. So I had ended up just kind of trying to figure it out on my own, and I had gone through a couple coaches.
Would you call yourself like self-taught?
I wouldn't say self-taught. It's one of those things where it's like everyone kind of just helps out everyone community-wise. So it's not like you have to directly go to someone and be like, please teach me everything. Okay. It's just as you have questions, you go on and you ask
So you like go out to them and like, okay, can you help me with this?
Yeah, like, hey, could you watch this for me real quick and kind of fix what needs to be fixed?
It is a dangerous sport.
Yeah, it's definitely scary.
Did you have like a mentor or somebody that you will, take advice from or ask questions?
I would say for a little bit there, I had like one or two coaches that I would kind of go to and like ask for some advice. And one of them was like my older brother in the sport. So,
Okay, so you do have...
yeah, I did have a support system in that aspect because he was, he's the age that I was now. So he's 9-10 years older than me. So him and my dad were really close. So he was always like hanging out with us and things like that. So I would always go and ask him.
Are you
for
guys
advice.
close?
Yeah, me and him were close. Yeah, even though I
So
don't
do you
race
ride together? Like, do you go to contests together? Do you practice?
Yeah. So throughout the week, there was always like 3 training sessions that we would all do at the track together, and then we'd usually have one private day. So that was 4 days at the track total, and then the other 3 days were spent in the gym on top of sprints at home. And then
So that's another
all of
question. How does a training day looks for you? How does it look?
When I was still racing, it would be show up. We would get to the track early so that we could prep the tracks. We'd sweep the track, water the track, all of that stuff. Yeah, we'd make sure the track was like really nice because our TO at the time was like kind of gone. He was just more behind the scenes. And then especially once he had passed away, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and like take care of the track. So we would get there like an hour early before even gates were thinking of opening, water the track, do a couple of like our warm-ups. Then as people started to get there, we'd start hitting the track like even harder and just training harder. And it would be a 3-hour training session. And then another like hour on top of it for skills. So we were there for probably 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, but it would be at nighttime. So I mean, we would get there, I'd get off of school, we'd drive there, get there at 4, and we would stay until
How far is it from,
like 10,
from your place?
An hour. Yeah, so we would sit in traffic there.
So it would take pretty much all your day.
Yeah, it would take the second half of the day because the first half I had to go to school. Yeah, and then after I got home, if I wasn't doing homework, then I would be able to go to bed and then wake up and repeat. Yeah, it was draining.
That's like full on day. So when did you have time to study?
You don't. You just
Because
kind of.
if you want to do kinesiology, that's a lot of studying. You know,
Yeah, that's where I would take a step back
apply.
from it all was because of the fact that there wasn't so much time anymore. But you would kind of just be able to fit it in and doing like notes in the car, like
Oh my
just
God.
studying on your phone, watching videos.
So I want to ask you, so what's the meaning behind your handle on Instagram is Kylie Monster BMX? Because you are like the sweetest, beautiful girl. Definitely not a monster. But do you have like that monster mentality when you're on the bike? Is that what it is?
I've been told that before, yeah. I personally don't think that I'm very carnage on the bike, but yeah, I've been told that. But no, it actually has nothing to do with BMX or anything,
But
like
did you
not
come
even the
up with
energy
the
drink.
name? Oh.
No, I didn't even come up with it.
Okay.
As I mentioned, my parents had me young. They had me at 20 and 22. So I was the only kid in like their group at the time. So they would still have all their friends come over, and it was either I got called the little munchkin or the little monster. So then ever since then, my parents actually started my Instagram account because they didn't want me having social media.
Super agree with them. If I had a kid, I wouldn't let them have social media before 18.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do understand that it can be a tool, especially when you want to get sponsorships.
It can be beneficial.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. It did help me with getting my citizenship and my green card. So I'm very thankful for your parents. So they started your handle. Are they still like taking care of it or not?
No, they gave me full control over it when I was 13. So as soon as I turned 13,
Oh, wow.
I've been running it. Yeah. So everything every comment, every like, every
So
follow,
when did they
that all goes
start it?
through.
How old were you when they started your
They started it as soon as I did BMX when I was 10.
So 10?
So as soon as I turned 10, they had started it and got it up and running. And I think my first Instagram post was like 2017.
Now you're in control.
Now I'm in
But
full control.
do they like advise you? Do you ask them sometimes if that's how do you feel about this post, or are you like completely free right now? They trust you.
They trust me with it. I used to ask them for a lot more advice. I mean, there's still times where it's like me and my dad will sit down and we'll try to brainstorm things that like we could do that would look cool and things like that. But when it comes to like being filtered and stuff, it's kind of up to my choices. My mom doesn't agree with some of the stuff that I post, and
Oh no.
no, my dad is just like, oh, well, you did that, so it's
But I've
already
seen
out
your
there.
profile. It's
I try and keep it put together and nice, and
It's
yeah.
very nice. It's nothing that it's not for your age or anything like
Yeah.
that. So how did social media help you with sponsorships and all the sponsorships that you have? If you want to talk a little bit about them. I did my research, so some of them are like helmets, some are tires. So cool. And then another one is like, is it loungewear or?
I do have a couple apparel sponsors. I have Nectar Clothing, which
I
does
didn't see
sponsor.
that one.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
the
different apparel and merch, and they're based all over. They just recently got into Tilly's, but Nectar Clothing does a lot of different like girly style, and that's where you'll more so see like me in dresses and like even like cute like pants and shoes and stuff like that are from Nectar generally. But then there is Dirt Society. They sponsor me through BMX, and they do a lot of like different graphic tees and stuff like that, so where they can still have a girly t-shirt fit, but it's a t-shirt. It's not something fancy. Yeah. And then there's a couple other ones.
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm trying to think.
Ethica?
Yes, Ethica.
Because I checked them out and they have really, really cute stuff.
Ethica's cute. Ethica's all like underwear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mainly for Ethica, what was cool is that when I had started racing and I started pushing hard again on social media, I had wanted to go ahead and get those bigger brand sponsorships, but because I wasn't 18 yet, they couldn't really do anything with me. So as soon as I turned 18, they went ahead and DM'd me and were like, hey, we've been waiting, like we really want to collab.
Now we got you.
I was like, perfect. And it's nice because when you go to the races, it's so hot out that it's nice to be able to unbuckle your pants and just have like an Ethica short on underneath, which is like a Nike Pro, and then to be able to take off your jersey and have something completely covering. Because a lot of my Ethica bras will go down to like here, like they're long, so it's nice. And they're super comfortable too, so I love Ethica.
And it's good because, you know, on your Instagram you have profiles where pictures can be feminine, but at the same time they can be a little bit more sporty.
Yeah.
And it's nice to, you know, be able to show both sides.
100%.
But you are a girl, that's BMX, but at the same time it can be girly and very feminine. Now I want to get a little bit into some harder questions. I was an athlete and I was doing acrobatics. I had a lot of injuries. So I could not even imagine, you know, the level of dangerous like activity during BMX. So did you have any injuries?
Yeah. I've had a couple of pretty crazy ones. I want to say in 2021 was one of the first times I had a really like crazy crash. And it had involved my bike mechanic at the time. He didn't do the proper job on the bike. So I showed up to the race and my chain wasn't tightened. And the chain is what's going to go ahead and, for those of you who've never seen a bike, it connects your back wheel with the sprocket in the front, which are attached to your cranks, which are what spin. So that's what's going to make you go faster. So we were going through the rhythm section and I went to reposition my foot because going over the different jumps, you want to have your feet level. And so I went to reposition and I just heard a loud pop and next thing I knew I was on the floor. And so what had happened was the chain had popped off and it had ended up binding up the back wheel. And when it did that, it completely jerked the bike and I went over. But with being on a BMX bike, you can't just jump off the bike because you're clipped in once you reach a certain level. So your feet are attached to your pedals so that you can scoop easier. Yeah, so it's kind of like a cheat in a way because you're able to kind of pick up on the pedal a lot faster. So I was clipped into the bike and I remember going over the bars and I was knocked out. And come to find out, apparently it was going up the lip of a jump. And when I'd gone, when I had gone up the lip of the jump, my helmet had moved up as soon as I hit the landing, and it sliced open the bottom of my chin. So I had to get 5 stitches. I was concussed, and that's when I ended up getting my hip injury, where like now I'm in physical therapy for it because my hip clicks in and out of place. So as I'm walking, dancing, just doing random things throughout the day, like I'll just get a sharp pain and it's out of place. Yeah. Then it's a whole process. I mean, aside from that, there's just been other crazy ones where it's like you fall 10 feet out of the air straight on your head. The helmet that you have definitely matters and it'll save your life, 100%. And I've been blessed with having Bell helmets backing me for a long time now because each one of those crashes I've been in a Bell. And they have MIPS technology, which goes ahead with the EPS foam, and it just makes sure that your head is protected. So as it's going, depending on where the impact is, it'll instantly break that shell to kind of like protect around your head.
So having the right equipment is very, very important.
Yeah, you have to. If you don't, then it's just, you're asking for something bad to happen.
So you would say that that was like the worst accident you had?
I would say physical injury would be that one, and then
how did you recover, like, and I'm not saying like physically, mentally, how did you get back, you know, not just like practicing, but also contest and everything?
So I would say honestly, probably the ones where you hit the deck a little bit harder, like, I would say physically wise, it doesn't hurt as bad. It's more of the ones that just kind of spook you. So like falling like out of the air on the one crash that I had in 2022 or 2023. That crash did more damage to me than the one where I actually ended up like having to get stitches and everything. Just because it kind of leaves you like with the, like, oh my gosh, what could have happened? Like that could have been a lot worse. And especially when it puts you in the position where you've seen like your like all-star people that you've looked up to end up paralyzed or hospitalized or brain bleeding or even passed away for it. So being in that situation, I had gone through the exact same crash that one of like my all-time stars had gone through, and he ended up paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
So I remember hitting the deck, and my body was just kind of shocked, and nothing will ever shake that feeling of just kind of laying there, not being able to move, and like, oh my gosh, I ended up hyperventilating and passed out. Yeah, they ended up having to call an ambulance. They thought that I had like died on the track because they couldn't feel my pulse because
I
they're
can
not allowed to
imagine
touch
how
you.
your parents must have felt.
Yeah, my mom will freak out. You'll hear my mom in the background of every video. Because me and my dad made an agreement just because I was like, hey, like...
What kind of agreement?
Okay, so
That's very
we made an
interesting.
agreement. I was like, okay, if I crash, like you just have to keep filming. Like keep filming just in case. Like, because you never know what could happen. Like I was like, there might be something cool that ends up happening. Like just keep filming.
Right.
So my dad always would keep filming, but you'd hear my mom just freak
Did you
out.
ask for that? You wanted to be filmed?
Yeah.
Or your dad?
I wanted him to keep
You are a
filming.
little monster.
No, because one of the times I remember I had fallen, it wasn't even a bad fall, and I had been on the track and I ended up doing, I like always try and I would try and get like the crowd like hyped up like after I would fall or like.
So you're also a performer.
Yeah, whenever they were watching, like I always wanted to keep like the crowd entertained. Like that was just what I was kind of known for doing at one point, was trying to hype everyone
Wow,
up.
because I never thought that at the same time you're entertaining people.
Yeah.
So you are performing, entertaining at the same
Because my thought
time.
was like,
and
they're
setting your
already-
life in danger.
Yeah. Because obviously I'd been posting on social media so much that I had started building a fan base around. So it was like I could obviously feel that love, and I was like, okay, if they're gonna take time out of their day to watch me ride, then like I want to be able to entertain them. So I remember one of the times I fell, and I had like, it was a mud bath, and we had slid down the back of like this like tabletop, and I was covered in mud, and I was doing push-ups on the track at one point just to like kind of hype everyone up. And I remember my dad stopped filming, and luckily the live stream caught it, but I was like, why would you stop filming that? He's like, I thought that you were all like hurt, and I was like, no, never
So
stop
then after
filming.
that you had the agreement?
Yeah, so, but then it was kind of funny because it was a compilation then of like my mom. I have it somewhere of she just screaming in the background, oh no, and like her running. So I for sure given my mom a heart attack and a lot of grays, but it's okay. Yeah, mom's had a rough go
I
with
can
me.
feel for her, seriously.
Yeah, she couldn't be more happy that I wanted to take a step back.
So another hard question, and then we're going to go to other stuff. It's something that I also relate. On your Instagram bio, you mentioned mental health matters. So how has mental health played a role in your BMX journey?
I've tried to quit BMX like 3 or 4 times now because of mental health.
I can never tell because you're so passionate
Yeah.
about it.
That's what makes it hard. Is it's how I try and describe it. How I look at it now is it's like a toxic relationship. Like you love it so much and you want to be part of it.
It's like a toxic boyfriend?
Yeah.
No, this guy. This guy's the best. We love you. Yes.
But yeah, it's like a toxic relationship. Like you love it so much and you put so much time and energy invested into it, and you just really want it to work, but it's just not going to change. And that's where I've kind of had to reach that point with BMX racing and looking at it that way. But that was something that was really hard for me to give up, because when I went to the World Championships in 2023, I was like, okay, like this is it. Like I'm gonna have my break finally. I'm gonna come back, go pro, and like that was gonna follow my timeline. And then it didn't work out there, and so I was like, okay, I was just defeated. I remember being in Scotland because we had to stay for like another 3 days after, and I remember just crying, just like depressed, like the worst mental state I'd ever been in prior to my crash. Because in my crash, I'd already been in and out of therapy because I was like, I'm not in a good enough state to where I can fix this myself anymore. I was like, so if someone else doesn't fix it, then I don't really know what's going to happen. I'd kind of given up at that point, and then after Worlds I'd given up, and then I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to give it one more final push. And luckily the local team I was on at the time, which was Davis Racewear, they had kind of picked me up and they were like, look, like, you don't have to have pressure on you, like we just want to see you go out and perform.
Right.
And it was one of the best seasons of my life, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. And then I had split ways with them just because of better opportunity that I had thought approached. So I went ahead and went with them, and then at that point it just beat me down so much to the point where I was like, you know, I don't want to do with this anymore.
So we talked a little bit about on the phone, and it's something that really, really surprised me in terms of like mental health. You're doing a sport that is not very feminine, like not a lot of women.
Yeah.
And you told me that instead of like you guys being closer and supporting each other, there's a competition and toxicity from that side,
100%.
which blows my mind. You know, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, when do you feel it during contests? Do you feel that toxicity or rival while practicing? Do you feel through social media?
Just in general, you would feel it. I remember when I joined the factory team at the start of last year, I remember showing up to practice, and I was in a hoodie because it was cold still, and it was a whole new bike, whole new gear, so nobody knew that it was me. And I remember standing behind like these two girls who I thought were like my best friends, and I remember them saying like, oh yeah, like we have to team rider this weekend. And I remember kind of just like listening because they didn't know that I was there. I was like 2 riders back. And how it's lined up is there's like the original gate and then there just lines up from there. So I was like 2 riders back. So it was still kind of faint, but I could hear what they were saying. And one of my other friends was in front of them and he was like, hey, like you should go up there and like listen a little bit more. So I was like, okay. So I go up and I just remember them saying like she didn't deserve it. Like all that she is just an Instagram person.
And these are thought of your closer friends?
Yeah, I thought that we were a lot closer and I don't know, I just had figured that it was kind of like, we had been like mutuals on Instagram, we'd all grown up racing each other, so I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I just remember them saying like, oh yeah, like we need a team rider, she didn't deserve that, I should have gotten that over her, I can't believe that she's the one who ended up winning this, and it being a whole thing, and I remember that just being outside of everything, but on top of that, you get unfollowed on Instagram after you do really good in an event. You get taken out just for the sake of getting taken out. Like,
really?
There's a lot of rivalries, there's a lot of pettiness, and it'll be over stupid things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she just did that before me. Like, it's just envy and jealousy, and for me, it got to
how do you cope with that? How do you go to another competition thinking that, like, are you trying to completely disconnect from this reality, or does it bother you? Does it affect you? Like, how do you? I cannot imagine being at your age, no, honestly, and having, the stress of competing, of performing, of entertaining, and dealing with this kind of like.
When I was younger, it ate at me a lot more. I remember just like crying to my mom one of the times at the race, and I was like, I don't know like what I did. I was like, I don't know what I could have done different. Like, I don't know how these people want me to change. The only way that they're gonna like me is if I let them win, and I can't do that. That's not what we're here. That's not what we're here to do. Yeah, I've lost a lot of friends through doing racing. But yeah, I think it was just one of those things. It got really bad when we were 15 and 16 because they combined the classes. So it was the 15 to 16 girls. So you're racing girls that are about to turn 17 and you just barely turned 15.
So older than you.
Yeah, so they're older, and with that there's a lot more rivalries that were already going on prior to when we had all aged into that class.
And they probably didn't like the fact that you're younger.
We're younger, and we're making the mains, and we're still competing.
Right.
And they really didn't like that, and I remember it being one of those, it was a whole season actually, of you would show up and there were kids literally crying in the chutes. Like, the girls were crying because they knew it was going to be a bloodbath when you got on the track, and there was a point in time where it was every single time the gate dropped with our class, everyone fell. It would literally just be a non-stop, everyone's falling, and the only time that anyone really got like a really solid win out of it was either they were left completely alone and were just away from all the carnage, or were so far behind that they were able to just kind of go up and around. It was crazy.
So what is your support system? Is it your family? Is it friends that they are not in the BMX world? Who would you turn back and be like, I need some support today?
I would say my track older brother did a really good job. His name's Chad Harper. He was
shout out.
Yeah, shout out Chad Harper. He was always there for me whenever I was like going through it and having a rough time. I would always just kind of go to him and just kind of thank him for being there for me, and he would just kind of like hold me and be like, hey, like it's fine, we have tomorrow.
Is he the go-to?
Yeah, he's the go-to for sure. Even in general, like if I'm just like having a rough go with something, I'm like, hey Chad, like you're older than me, you were at this point like not too long ago, like what do I do?
And sometimes you just want to vent.
100%. So I would say him, or honestly the younger kids, the younger generation, they were really good at, they didn't even know it, but like they were helping me a lot more than they thought. Because we would just be at events.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Because the way that it would line up is our class was so big at one point that we would be in the chutes and it would always be the next younger group of kids that were next in line. Because how it's ranged is you go novice, intermediate, girls expert, and then boys expert. But it'll be the younger boys that would go. So it would be like...
So wait, in the beginning, boys and girls are...
They're mixed. Yeah. So
it's a mix.
Yeah, when I was intermediate, I got taken out by boys so many
no
times.
Idea.
Yeah, they would be so mad. And I remember their dad, standing next to me in the chutes, and they were like, if you don't take her out or win somehow, then you're not getting a ride home. And I was like, I'm like, cool guys, I'm like 11.
So what is the age that it separates from girls to guys?
There's no specific age, no. So it'll stay mixed.
So at this point, are you competing against guys?
There's times where you could, yeah. So even being at the local scene, if I were to go and race, there would be a point where there's a good chance that I'd be mixed in with other boys that are around the same age as me, just if there's not enough people to race. But at like the national scene, that generally doesn't happen. At the national scene, it'll generally be really split. Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. That's a lot for a young girl like you.
Those younger boys would be in the chute next to me, and we were all on the same team, and then even the ones that weren't on the same team had always been around because they were friends with those kiddos. So they'd be like, hey, like you're gonna go crush it right now, like go kill it. And it would be like, while all these other girls were crying, like they would make me play rock, paper, scissors with them. Or like, they were keeping my mind off of it, or they were like telling me the newest brain rot on TikTok. And it was just, it helped a lot more than I think that they're ever gonna know that it did and ever realize. But even checking in on me after the races, I think that was a
Talking about TikTok, so are you practicing and writing mostly for content or competitions, or both?
What do you mean?
So what is your focus? Are you practicing to become better at like competing, or do you see yourself like focusing more on content creation and getting your platform more, followers, more sponsorships? What is your dream?
I think right now the dream is to get the degree in kinesiology, do pediatric physical therapy, but I would love to have my full-time job be content creation. I would love that more than anything, to do that.
I think honestly, I think you have the right charisma. Because of course you have the looks, you're stunning. I can't you have the talent. I think you would kill it becoming a content creator. And combine all of that. You know how awesome being a BMX rider. You're also a very feminine girl and use your looks, and you have such a great way you talk, very articulate. I think you would kill it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And who are the people that inspire you? If you can name a few writers that you look up to, that you maybe grow up with, what are your inspirations?
I would say honestly, aside from my older brother Chad being like an outlook in that sense, I don't really think that I've looked up to any other writers really. There's one girl that did it really good in my opinion, Carolyn Buchanan. She's an Australian BMX racer. Now she's switched over to mountain biking. But I think that she did it amazing in terms of, she started at BMX, had spent some time here, and then ended up transitioning out after she'd been getting brand deals and got her name out there. To where now she does all these different
Is she older?
events. Yeah, she's a little bit older. She's older than me at least. I feel like she's in her 30s now, 30s or 40s.
Oh wow!
She's older than me, yeah. But I think she did a great job in the way that she was
But she has been practicing and competing her whole life.
Yeah, she's been in it for a while.
She's many years ahead.
Yeah, I've watched so many videos on her. When I was still hitting BMX very hard, that was still someone who I looked up to, because it was always, okay, I'm going to do BMX racing, and then I'm going to start getting brand deals, and I'm going to phase my way out to mountain biking. And obviously God's had different plans now. As a model in LA, doing some side quests here and there, but I'm not complaining.
So I studied fashion in London, and when I started working in the industry, I hated it. So I liked the creative side, obviously, clothes, but I didn't like people. I didn't like the industry, and then fitness came in my life, and it literally saved me.
Yeah.
Because I was exposed to size zero, didn't know anything about nutrition, and I was going through some eating issues. So getting into fitness saved my life.
Yeah, it saves.
And the thing is and now I'm doing this. So it's not about, I failed on that one. Okay, I tried, I learned so many things, and then rebound.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
My last question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? It doesn't have to be connected to BMX. Career-wise, relationship-wise, what's the dream?
Let me think. So 5 years from now, I'd be 24. So by that point, I'd hope to have my degree done in kinesiology finally. Fingers crossed, moved out of my parents' house. I'm hoping that I'm not there.
But I do believe that if you keep on, working on your social media and also content creation, I really think that you will be making way before
I think
24
I'll be able to move out by then.
out.
Yeah, fingers crossed that I moved out by then and taking my next steps in relationships in that aspect. And definitely hoping to lock down a couple more big life accomplishments by that point. So yeah, hopefully with modeling, if it keeps going the way it's going.
I think you should totally go for it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can book some bigger deals there. Obviously one of the
Or
things.
even acting, because you have skills sometimes they ask.
Acting scares me so much.
It is scary for sure.
Yeah.
It is very challenging. But I do think that you have the personality and the charisma. You're very good like in front of camera. And
Thank you.
I think you will kill it actually
Thank
in
you.
acting as well. But I want to thank you so much for coming. I know you live very far and also your boyfriend for bringing you here. And I hope you enjoyed the
Yes,
podcast.
thank you so much for having me. I had such an amazing time, and we're gonna have to do this again soon.
Yeah,
I
I think next time. Would you want to be on the pod next time? Talk about line dancing. That's something I definitely want to try. So yeah, again, thank you so much. And I hope you guys all enjoyed the podcast. If you want to follow her, it's going to be Kylie_Monster_BMX. Go give her a follow. And I'll see you guys on the next one.